In a resolution letter dated 11th February 2021 and copied to the government of Uganda and EU member states, recommendations which included sanctions to some Ugandan government officials and agencies on grounds of continued violation of human rights were made. Since then, the government of Uganda has responded with utmost concern.
Our perspective as a country, because if you talk about we did not follow the law, you remember that we are still in a COVID situation. We have a pandemic around with us, and we had to do an election, but being mindful of the lives, all the electorates, because we did not want everybody to get the virus.
That statement, in short, they said the election was credible. Particularly the polling day, they said it was peaceful. It has never been as peaceful as that election. That's what they said themselves. So it was a surprise to us that they entertained this in their parliament. But be that as it may, assuming somebody complained or raised, they never informed our embassy in Brussels that there was a complaint so that we would respond. We only saw the resolution. We are still trying to understand the motivation for the resolution tainted with the clear falsehood and the mix-up of issues.
Among the grounds in the EU's resolution is the arrest of human rights activists and lawyer Nicholas Opio, whom government of Uganda recently slapped with charges related to money laundering, purported arrest and detention of Ugandans, among others.
They mix it up with issues of homosexuals who they claim have hostels in Uganda. As the government of Uganda, we are not aware of any hostels for homosexuals at all. They mix that up with the arrest and prosecution of one Nicholas Opio, as if this country does not have laws. Our response really is Uganda is a democracy. We abide by the rule of law. When there is an election, the laws of Uganda don't get suspended. And therefore, anybody who is suspected to have committed, about to commit, will be either arrested, will be curtailed to prevent further commission and breach of the law.
The abductions being talked about, His Excellency and the Minister and even the security officials clearly elaborated that there were intelligence that was picked and also a number of plans that were targeting to cause chaos, violence before, during and after elections. Having picked that information, government could not sit idly and watch. At least they had to take steps to avert the planned chaos.
The repeated arrest and detention of presidential candidates Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and Patrick Oboy Amuriat during the recent concluded campaigns is also another matter raised by the EU in its resolution.
However much they tell the lies, they will not go so far, because we don't hold our elections, we don't run our affairs to please foreigners. We hold our election and run our affairs on the basis, legitimate interests of the citizens of Uganda.
In its response, the government of Uganda has trashed all these ignited allegations.
But you realize that when such accusations are made, at times, as a country, we are not contacted to give our side of the story. We come up now as a way of reacting to the allegations that have been put forward. And most of the allegations, you realize that they are false. They don't hold water, the facts are not there, but they are simply picked from here and there from the social media propagandists. That's why we say that Honorable Sam Kutesa should always keep in touch with those people, wherever they get such reports. We need to have our side of the story put clearly.
But we think they do this for purposes of blackmail, to tag everybody as having been arrested because of political dissent. If we are arresting people because of political dissent, why are the arrests not in Tororo, not in Mbane, not in Arua, not in Acholi, not in Kasese.
Although EU is among the biggest donors and funders of key Ugandan government projects, this, according to Ugandan government, cannot be a justification of sovereignty interference.
It is not charity. Aid is a business. When they lend Uganda money, Uganda pays back with interest. They create jobs for their people under so-called technical assistance. We buy equipment using that same loan from them, from their respective countries. So the donation, the aid, is mutually beneficial. And I can tell you, while we want to continue with bilateral and multilateral support from the European Union and their respective individual countries, Uganda can survive and will survive.
As to whether the government of Uganda will be moved by such resolutions or even sanctions, government spokesperson Ofono Opondo and Minister for ICT Judith Nabakoba refers to them as kicks of a dying horse.
That time for Africa being a place for everyone and for no one is a long gone past. Africa, and Uganda in particular, has its owners who are the citizens.
In his recent televised address to the nation, the Fountain of Honor Yoweri Kaguta Museveni warned against continued interference by some international community member states into Uganda's affairs.
I just want to comment on excitement also caused by some of the foreigners, and here I emphasize the word some because it's not really all the foreigners who are trying to interfere in our internal affairs. It is only some people.
What remains at hand is to when, how and why the EU member states will treat the resolutions and its recommendations. But to the government of Uganda, protecting its sovereignty will be key. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.